Today, we're going to crack open one of the most famous and maybe most misunderstood visions in the entire Bible, the throne room scene in Revelation. But here's the twist. We're not going to look at it like a prophecy about the future. Instead, we're going to decode it as a high-stakes legal drama, a cosmic courtroom case that's set up to solve a seemingly impossible problem. And it all boils down to this one single question. I mean, think about it. How do you rescue someone you love, a bride in this case, who has become so lost, so blind to her own condition, that she can't even see the rescuer standing right in front of her? That's the crisis that kicks this whole thing off.
So this crisis, it's laid out right at the end of Revelation chapter 3. The Church of Laodicea, who stands in for the bride of Christ, is in a really, really bad state. She's convinced she's rich, that she's got it all together, but the reality is she's spiritually blind, naked, and unfaithful. She's completely lost sight of the one she's supposed to be devoted to.
And here's the crucial thing to get. The solution can't just be some kind of spiritual pep talk. The problem is way bigger than that. You see, the church is made of humanity, and humanity is tied to the earth. The whole system is tangled up in a legal mess. Creation itself is under the jurisdiction of corruption and death. So, to save the bride, you can't just fix her. You have to fix the entire system she's part of. And that means you have to first settle the fundamental legal question. Who actually holds the title deed to this corrupted creation?
Okay, so that brings us to Revelation chapter 4. The vision opens with the word behold, which in the Bible is basically a giant blinking sign that says, pay attention. What you're about to see is a parable. It's symbolic language that needs to be decoded. We're not looking at a literal room with furniture. We are stepping into a symbolic heavenly courtroom.
The very first thing John sees is a throne. But, spirits don't actually need chairs to sit on. In visions like this, a throne isn't furniture. It's the physical manifestation of spiritual authority. Think of it less like a chair and more like a living, dynamic system of governments, the very heart of a major judicial intervention.
And check this out. The one sitting on the throne appears as a man. In the language of this vision, that is a critical detail. It tells us that the judge is choosing to operate under human covenant law. So this isn't some judgment handed down by a distant abstract God. Nope. It's happening within the legal framework that was established with and for humanity. And then, surrounding the throne, there's this emerald rainbow. Again, nothing here is just for decoration. Emerald is the color specifically linked to the priestly tribe of Levi. This is a huge clue. It tells us we're in a priestly court, not a war room. The trial isn't about blowing things up. It's about a broken covenant, about spiritual adultery and deep-seated corruption.
Now, sitting before the judge are two gemstones, jasper and ruby. And once again, in the Bible's judicial language, these aren't just pretty rocks. They represent the accused. These stones symbolize the ancient tribes of Benjamin, who was infamous for tolerating corruption, and Reuben, the original example of breaking a sacred family covenant. So basically, the historical root causes of the bride's entire crisis are now officially on trial.
So who's watching all this go down? The 24 elders. And they represent the entire covenant community. You've got the 12 tribes of old Israel, plus the 12 apostles of the new. They're dressed in white, which stands for judicial purity, and they're wearing golden crowns, showing their authority. They're basically the official witnesses, the jury, confirming that this whole legal process is legit.
Okay, now the camera kind of pulls back, and the scene gets even bigger. And this is where we see just how massive the scope of this trial really is. The court's jurisdiction isn't just limited to heaven and earth. It's actually pulling in another realm entirely. The underworld itself is being put on trial.
The Bible uses specific code words for these cosmic realms. The face of the waters often refers to the heavens, and the mist over the land refers to the earth. But here in Revelation, John sees a sea of glass. Now that's not a heavenly ocean. It's cosmological language for the underworld, for Hades itself. And it's been summoned, frozen still, and immobilized before the court. Its chaos is completely restrained for this trial.
So if you've got the underworld itself on trial, well, you're going to need some serious security. And that is the job of the four living creatures. These aren't just some weird mystical beasts. In this legal drama, they are the divine bodyguards. The court marshals making sure there is absolute order and guarding all access to the judge.
And each one has a very specific role in this cosmic security detail. The lion is the enforcer, bringing authority. The ox is the executor, patient and strong. The face of the man brings intelligent discernment, and the eagle is the overseer, swift and vigilant.
Together, they form this impenetrable guard, making sure the trial proceeds exactly as it should.
So, the court is in session. The accused are present, the realms are secured. This first phase of the trial comes to an end, and a verdict is reached. But this victory immediately creates a brand new and what looks like a totally impossible dilemma. And the verdict of this massive cosmic trial rings out. God is sovereign. He is the rightful owner of the entire universe. That is declared as a legal fact. And this isn't just, a nice statement of faith. It's the official, binding outcome of a trial that just put the jurisdiction of the underworld itself in the dock. But just as that verdict is handed down, a new object appears in the scene, a scroll, and it's sealed shut with 7 seals. This is land title language. This scroll is the title deed to the earth, the legal document that gives someone the right to rule and redeem all of creation. And this thing, it presents a huge problem.
Then a mighty angel basically throws down the central challenge of this whole drama. Who is worthy to break the seals and open the scroll? It's a legal question, right? Who has the right, the legal standing, the authority to take ownership and execute the judgment that comes with it?
And the answer is just devastating. No one. Not a single angel in heaven, not one human on earth, not a spirit under the earth is found worthy. And why? Because every single created being is subject to corruption and death. Nobody has the legal standing to go into death's domain, take back the deed from the false landlord, and come back out again.
The whole vision just descends into this cosmic despair. It's like the plan for redemption has hit a legal brick wall. But right at that moment, a solution is announced, revealing the one and only hero who can possibly solve this impossible legal mess.
The hero is announced as the Lion of Judah, but when John looks, what he sees is a lamb that looks like it had been slain. And this paradox is what unlocks everything. His appearance as slain isn't a sign of weakness. It's the actual evidence of his qualification. It proves he's already been where no one else could go, into death itself, and has already come back victorious.
So how did he become the only one worthy? Well, the vision lays it all out as a clear, legal, and spiritual process. First, he enters the courtroom and legally secures the verdict of God's ultimate ownership. Then, armed with that authority, he descends into death itself. Down there, he confronts the false landlord and legally redeems the title deed that humanity gave away. And finally, he returns, still bearing the marks of that victory, which is the ultimate proof that he has the legal standing to take that scroll.
And this brings us to the final, and maybe the most important point of this whole cosmic legal drama. All of this, the courtroom, the trial, the verdict, the scroll, the lamb, it's all structured this way for one very specific, very important legal reason.
And here it is. This is the core principle of the whole vision. You cannot lawfully execute judgment on a property you do not legally own. I mean, think about it in our terms. A bank can't foreclose on a house if it doesn't hold the mortgage, right? It's the same principle. The entire cosmic drama we just walked through was the necessary legal prerequisite for everything that's about to happen. Ownership had to be legally restored before the work of redemption and final judgment could even begin.
So this massive cosmic trial, it wasn't the final act at all. It was just the legal foundation. It was all about establishing jurisdiction, proving worthiness, and securing ownership. Which leaves us with one last, really provocative question. If this was the trial that set the stage, what in the world does the execution of that judgment, the actual unsealing of that scroll, look like?